Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how I can create this animation in Blender, so let's get started. First let's delete the light and scale the cube to 70. Go to the physics properties and set it to fluid and select domain. Set the resolution divisions to 320. This might take a few seconds. Now check adaptive domain. And also check dissolve and noise. For the sake of this tutorial I'm going to create a custom folder for the cache, but you don't have to do that. So I'm going to call it cache and hit accept. And under type set it to modular and check is resumable. Now let's add a sphere, UV sphere. Go to the particle properties and press plus. Set the number to 10,000 and frame to 250 and lifetime randomness to 1. Under render make sure to uncheck show emitter. And now let's add a force field turbulence. This one. Set the strength to 45.8. And now if we press play we have something like this. Also here tap in gravity and uncheck gravity. Now click on the X here and go to the physics properties and select the sphere. Go to fluid and select flow. Set the flow type to fire and smoke and in flow. Under flow source, let's set the flow source to particle system and select our particle system. Now save the file. I'm going to call it tutorial. And now select the domain. By the way, you can call this domain up here. And let's call the sphere emitter. Select the domain again, and here click on bake data. By the way, if you want to cancel the bake you can just press escape, and because we checked is resumable you can resume it later. So let's press bake data. This is going to take a few minutes. Once that's done baking, let's go down here to noise and bake noise. This is also going to take a few minutes. Now let's go to shading and go to the rendered view. Now let's set the world to black and delete the principled BSDF. Add a principled volume, this one. Control Shift and connect it. Now add two math nodes. Set the bottom value to 150 and set it to multiply. Connect the value to the emission strength and duplicate it. Connect the value to the value and add 3 color ramps. Duplicate it 2 times. Connect the color of the one in the middle to the top value and the color of the one on the top to the bottom. And connect this color to the emission color. And as you can see now we have this. Now let's add an attribute node. Type in heat and connect the factor to the factor here and here. Also add a noise texture and connect the factor to the factor. Set the scale to 8 and the detail to 9.2. Now drag this black in like this and do the same here. Select the white one and make that black as well. And now press on the plus button here and make this one white. Now go to the bottom one and set it from RGB to HSL and counterclockwise. Make the black blue and the white, let's make that red. Now bring in the blue, like this. And you can create all kinds of colors with this, but I'm going to make it red, like this. Maybe drag it in a little more. I think something like this looks good. Now under render properties, go to color management and set the view transform to standard and the look to high contrast. Now set the exposure to -1. I think this makes it look a little bit better, but I'm going to change the color a little bit. Like this, for example. Go back to layout mode and hit delete on the numpad while having the domain selected. And now let's press Ctrl-Alt-0 to go into camera view. Select the camera and position it by pressing G. Now go into rendered view and let's maybe zoom out a little by pressing G ZZ. Like this. Go to the render properties again. I'm going to render at 128 samples with denoise enabled. If you have an NVIDIA GPU, you can use optics or OpenImage denoise. If you don't have one, you can only use OpenImage denoise, but I prefer optics. Go to the output properties and we can leave everything here as it is. And now let's create an output folder. For that, let's create a new folder, call it rendered images. And now select it. And for the file name, I'm also going to call this rendered images. And if you put an underscore after the name, Blender is going to automatically assign numbers to the frames. Let's hit accept and go here to compositing. You need to enable use nodes in order to use these nodes. Add a denoise set to accurate, and if you want these outputs here, you need to enable denoising data and then simply connect them. Now let's save again and go to render animation. After it's done rendering, I'm going to show you how to compile the images into a video. Now that it's done rendering, let's close this window and hover over the file location and press Ctrl-C. Go to video editing. If you don't have this tab here, just go to the plus sign and click on plus and video editing. Make sure you're on frame 1. Shift A, image sequence, and paste in the location minus the name. And now press A and hit enter. Change the file format to FFmpeg video. Encoding, change the container to MPEG-4, and under the output quality set it to high quality. Now let's go to render again and render animation. Now Blender is going to compile the images into a video. So that's it with the tutorial. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what I should do next, and I'll see you next time.